This is the AB4WS radio show. Every week, bringing you the exciting amateur radio news and information happening in the greater Cincinnati, Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana areas.
The AB4WS radio show can be found on the Apple Podcast app or your favorite podcast application. This week, while listening to the Newcomer and Elmer's Net on the Okayan 146.670 repeater on Sunday night at 7 p.m., and listening to a new ham ask some questions, it occurred to me that sometimes those of us who have been hams for a long time sometimes do not have the perspective of the new hams coming in, and perhaps a new ham can help them out. Well, there is a new ham in the area who is a professional podcaster, having over 50 different podcast shows on a wide variety of topics for the last 20 years. His name is Cliff Ravenscraft. His call sign is KQ4UUR. And once he got his tech license, he started another podcast which outlines his journey into the world of radio, and amateur radio specifically. The podcast has a neat and memorable name, Cliff's Notes on Ham Radio, and can be found on all the major podcast applications. The most recent episode is episode 8, Unlocking the World of HF, a tale of generosity, setups, and connection. But I encourage you to start at episode 1 and listen to Cliff's journey into amateur radio. These podcasts by Cliff might help those new hams realize they may not be the only person struggling with all the concepts and information about their ham radio hobby. While I realize that Cliff is a new ham and is still learning things, he does a great job of describing the hurdles he overcame and how he learned things to help him enjoy this great hobby. I encourage you to take a listen, especially if you're a new ham, and it might give you some ideas from a new ham's perspective. Have you caught the International Space Station's slow scan TV transmissions? Well, they've been transmitting them on 145.800 and have been easily heard. I heard them today on my HT while I was on my walk. You too can decode these images with just your 2-meter radio and an app on your smartphone. Check it out. Last week, KI4BJ Mark Volstead assisted the Scouts at Peterloon, a demonstrating amateur radio. They ended up doing all search and pounce, and the Scouts had a blast working DX stations in Russia, Denmark, and Switzerland, just to name a few. They also enjoyed learning how to send their names in Morse code. The turnout was fantastic, and they operated 100% solar power for the event, demonstrating what ham radio can do, while Hurricane Helene was fresh in everyone's mind. This further reinforced the Scouts' motto of be prepared. How prepared are you as Hurricane Milton bears down on Florida? The Logan County, Kentucky Amateur Radio Club is using a unique way to generate funds for their field day event and other club expenses. On October 26th, they're doing a trash pickup. They need some volunteers for the event. If you can help out, contact Corey Page. On September 25th, David Baker, KI4POO, a 51-year-old ham, passed away from cancer and became a silent key. Our condolences to his family and friends. On October 12th at 1 p.m., the Okayan Brunch Bunch will meet at Allen's Cafe, 3538 Columbia Parkway. Come on out and enjoy some great food and ham radio discussion. There is a new amateur radio club in Kentucky. The newly formed Winchester Amateur Radio Society, also known as WARS, will hold their first official meeting on Monday, October 14th at 6:30 p.m. at the County Fire Station No. 1, 200 Barnes Drive in Winchester, Kentucky. They also have begun a weekly net on Thursday evenings at 7:45 p.m. on the 145.290 repeater. So come on out to their meeting and check into their net. Good luck with the new club. I'm sure you all will do very well. October 17th is this year's International Shakeout Day, where millions of people worldwide will participate in earthquake drills at work, school, and home. At 10:17 a.m. local time, you can join in as well by practicing your own earthquake safety drill. To learn more about what you should do in the event of an earthquake, go to shakeout.org. Listen out for the Scouts on Jamboree on the Air, the world's largest digital scouting event using amateur radio and the internet. The event will be on October 18th through October 20th and connects Scouts worldwide for a full weekend of online activities promoting friendship and global citizenship. For more information, go to ARRL.org and search for JOTA. The MONIX Group will meet on October 19, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. at the Hamilton County Communications Center's Meeting Room, 2377 Civic Center Drive in Cincinnati, Ohio. Please use the second parking lot on the left on Civic Drive coming in from Hamilton Avenue. They'll meet in the lot and enter the secure building as a group. This will be a MONIX meeting only, no tour. Reach out to Rod, KJ4IAM, for more information. October 20th is a newcomer in Elmer's Net on the 146.670 repeater with a PL tone of 123.0 with Robert, K4PKM, who'll be talking all about how to shop around for new and used amateur radio equipment. The kids at Dixie Heights High School in Edgewood, Kentucky, Amateur Radio Club KI4DH is gearing up for the ARRL School Roundup the week of October 21st through the 25th. Students will be on the air practicing on Wednesday afternoons until then to hone in their ham radio skills. Listen out for them on 10, 20, and 40 meters between 3 and 4 p.m. Then make sure you get in their log for the School Club Roundup. The Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club will meet on October 21st at 7 p.m. at the Bethesda Community Church, 989 East Mount Zion Road in Independence, Kentucky. The program will be the Big Shack Attack, where you will be sharing your shack. You are encouraged to take photos of your ham shack and email them to Matt at K4NKU@NKARC.org, and you will share the information on your shack so everyone can learn by all your experiences of putting together your shack. All these great shacks will make for a very interesting shack attack. Are you interested in emergency communications? Well, I encourage you to attend the Amateur Radio Emergency Team of Northern Kentucky meeting on November 25th at 7 p.m. at the Bethesda Community Church, 989 East Mount Zion Road in Independence, Kentucky, where the emergency team's training team will give a great presentation that will start at the bottom and basically go over ARRLs and what it is and what it's for, the emergency management and what their main objectives are, and how this group fits into that mix, and what duties are expected for this group if the KY6ET emergency team is activated. With the recent major hurricanes hitting the southeastern United States and the devastation it caused, knocking out electric and power communications, we have seen the importance of trained and organized amateur radio teams and how they can help the entire community. It also illustrates the importance for you to get involved and share your amateur radio skills in times of need. So come on out to the meeting and see if this is something you might be interested in. Time to think about Honor Run 2024. The event will take place this year on Sunday, November 10th, 2024 at 7 a.m. The event will once again start and end under the famous Florence Shaw water tower. Once again, Amateur Radio Emergency Team in Northern Kentucky has been asked to provide communications throughout the course. They're looking for amateur radio volunteers to provide emergency and logistic communications for the event. Volunteers will be on their post at 6:15 a.m. that morning as Florence Police will begin shutting down the streets for the event. The event usually lasts approximately 4 hours, so the last stations along the course will be dismissed by 11 a.m. The event was started to raise money for the veterans to fly to Washington, D.C. to visit their memorials in their honor. This will be the 10th year of the event, and last year the event raised over $42,000 for this noble cause. The event is fairly low-key, and if you're interested in trying a public service event with amateur radio, this is a very good event to get started with. If you're a newcomer and would like to participate but are a little uncertain, the coordinator can pair you up with an experienced operator. It is a very good opportunity to gain experience, and you can have a lot of fun as well, with all the proceeds of the event going to a great cause. If you would like to participate, please contact Tim Lawrence, W4TWL, the event amateur radio coordinator, at W4TWL@yahoo.com by Friday, October 25th. Once the roster is filled, you'll receive an assignment sheet, a frequency plan, a map, and other information.
Repeater news.
Are you looking for the most up-to-date list of repeaters in the greater Cincinnati area? Well, I've compiled and tried to keep up-to-date an Excel spreadsheet of repeaters in the greater Cincinnati area. Tabs separate the bands, modes, and you can easily look up just for DMR repeaters or 2-meter analog repeaters and so on. The list includes 2 meters, 220, 440, 6 meters, D-Star, DMR, C4FM, P25, and some other classifications as well. Every time I update the file, I include the date in the file name so you know you have the latest update. To download the file, go to the AB4WS Radio Show Facebook page and go to the file section and download the most recent file. Any errors, problems, additions, or corrections, email me at ab4ws.radio@gmail.com.
Hamfests.
The first annual Harlan County Amateur Radio Free Fest will be held on Saturday, October 12, 2024 from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Harlan County Shriners Fairground on Highway 522 in Putney, Kentucky. This is an indoor and outdoor event where tailgaters are welcome. There will be no fee or setup charge for admission. They are hoping this event will grow into a nice little Hamfest. To reserve some space or to get some information, please email KK4KCQ@gmail.com. October 19th from 8 a.m. to noon at the Laughley Valley Fall Hamfest at the Brighton, Indiana Lions Club, 2160 Lamplight Drive in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. October 27th is the MARC Hamfest at the Military Aviation Preservation Society, 2260 International Parkway in North Canton, Ohio. The Grant Radio Club Hamfest will be held on November 9th from 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at 406 West Plum Street in Georgetown, Ohio. Talking on the 146.730 repeater with a PL tone of 162.2. For more information, contact Ken Klosterman at kd8fku@gmail.com.
Are you looking to upgrade your license? Do you have someone else that's interested in the hobby? Here are some upcoming exam opportunities.
The Milford Amateur Radio Club holds amateur radio testing on the third Thursday of each month at 6 p.m. at the Miami Township Civic Center, 6101 Meyer Drive in Milford, Ohio. Please pre-register at milfordhamradio.org. The Dayton Amateur Radio Association has exams frequently. For their exam schedule, email exams.w8bi@gmail.com. On Saturday, October 12th at 10 a.m., there'll be an amateur radio test session at the Winchester Clark County EOC. For more information, contact Daryl Epperson, AC4YD, at AC4YD@ARRL.net, or call him at 859-771-1834. On October 12th at 10 a.m., the Westchester Amateur Radio Association will host an amateur radio exam session at the Voice of America Museum, 8070 Tylersville Road in Westchester, Ohio. Please pre-register at hamstudy.org/sessions/WC8VOA. On October 14th at 6:30 p.m., the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club will hold an amateur radio testing session at the Cuyahoga Falls Library, 2025 2nd Street in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. You must register by calling 330-928-8921 or email education@cfarc.org. On October 21st at 5:30 p.m., the Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club will hold an amateur radio exam session at the Bethesda Community Church, 989 East Mount Zion Road in Independence, Kentucky. You must register by emailing Mark Volstead, AI4BJ at MVOLSTAD@TWC.com. On October 27th at 8:30 a.m., the Massillon Amateur Radio Club will hold an amateur radio exam session at the MAPS Air Museum, 2260 International Parkway in North Canton, Ohio. On November 9th at 10 a.m., the Westchester Amateur Radio Association will host an amateur radio exam session at the Voice of America Museum, 8070 Tylersville Road in Westchester, Ohio. Please pre-register at hamstudy.org/sessions/WC8VOA. On December 7th at 10 a.m., the amateur radio exam session will be held at the Georgetown Police Department, 550 Bourbon Street in Georgetown, Kentucky. You must register at hamstudy.org/sessions/WX4GPS. Special thanks to this week's content contributors: KM4VEG, KY6MM, KE4WA, KY4GW, WB8YYS, KD8ZLD, K9HIO, N8LAR, K4NKU.
If you have something you think other amateur radio operators in the area would be interested in, send the information or your recorded audio file attached in an email to ab4ws.radio@gmail.com.
Covering your amateur radio news and information in the greater Cincinnati, Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana tri-state area. This is Jack Prindle, AB4WS in Big Bone, Kentucky.